you know, either younger than us or, you know, passed and retired. So why not? You know, I want to challenge myself. The best always looking to fight the best and challenge themselves, you know, and why not, you know, challenge.
Terence Crawford can't beat him, right? This is a money grab for Terence Crawford. It's just a situation where Terence Crawford is trying to fill up his bank account opposed to actually his legacy.
But if you study Floyd closely, like I have, you will notice that he never wastes any steps while he's in the ring.
Terence Crawford reportedly accepted Floyd Mayweather's fight offer during a live interview with Stephen A. Smith. He explained that boxing, for him, is about testing limits and taking on every challenge, no matter the size. Crawford emphasized that the best should fight the best, expressing calm confidence that facing Mayweather is simply another opportunity to prove himself and exceed expectations.
Man, because this is Terence the businessman talking, right? They got to pay the cheddar to make it better, right?
For sure, for sure. All money ain't good money, so you gotta know that.
Okay, fair enough. I hate to use the word easy, but at times it did feel like you were, you know, having a really easy time out there. Were you expecting it to play out that way?
Listen, it's never easy, you know.
Stephen A. Smith has always been outspoken in sports, and boxing is no exception. When he praises Terence Crawford for becoming a champion in 4 different weight divisions, it's more than a compliment. It's recognition of a rare achievement in modern boxing. In an era where fighters often hesitate to move between divisions due to the risks, Crawford's dominance across 4 weights places him in a unique category. Smith emphasizes that this versatility and mastery establish Crawford as an all-time pound-for-pound great, showcasing his physical adaptability, technical skill, mental toughness, and relentless drive to challenge himself against increasingly tough competition.
Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance. He had poise in the ring, he wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, brilliant, masterful fight on Terence Crawford's.
Roy Jones Jr., a legend with first-hand experience across multiple divisions, praised Crawford's brilliance in the ring. He highlighted Crawford's fight with Canelo Alvarez, noting how Crawford effectively borrowed from the arsenals of Floyd Mayweather and Erislandy Lara, both of whom had troubled Canelo in different ways. According to Jones, Crawford's ability to study, adapt, and implement strategies in real time makes him exceptional. What stood out most was how Crawford didn't merely imitate. He integrated these techniques seamlessly into his own style, enhancing their effectiveness. This adaptability sets him apart from many fighters who rely on a single approach and struggle against elite competition.
As Canelo Alvarez has been a great fighter his whole career, people like Erislandy Lara gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. People like Floyd Mayweather also gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. But Bud is more fierce, more fearsome, and more angrier, and more meaner than both of those guys. So you know if they showed you the blueprint, Bud gonna go out there, take that blueprint, and do even more with it, which is what Bud did. So it was never a question in my mind whether Bud really was going to outbox me, just if he could take the punch. And right away he showed, bam, he could take the punch. So I knew from that point, if he just slow him down, which he did, he'd be okay. Then late in the fight, what other people still didn't see, late in the fight, Bud started hitting Canelo's body. One of those body shots, I think about the 7th or 8th round, hurt Canelo. I was like, whoa. Bud hit him in the right spot then, and he got Canelo's respect with that too. So Bud fought a very, very awesome fight, fought a beautiful fight, very tactical.
Very controlled.
Yes, it was a beautiful fight for boxing.
It was a beautiful fight. You know, Bud got hit with some shots.
He did. He did.
He got hit with some single shots going out. You know, he's going out, and you know Canelo, if he has you trapped in the corner or along the ropes, it's typically 1 to 2 big shots. You know that if you've watched him.
Yep.
So you could tell Crawford, as he was going out, he knew the one shot was coming, and several times it landed. He even got hit with a 2-piece. I don't remember what round it was, uppercut right hand that Crawford took well. So when you started seeing him absorb the shots, if you're Team Crawford, you don't want him to take that shot. But if you started seeing that, now you know that, okay. And I think that's what gave Crawford the green light to stay there a little bit longer.
He smiled about it.
He smiled about it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that smile can be a lie, and sometimes that smile can mean what I think it meant for Crawford, which is, oh, that's not as bad as I thought it was.
The prospect of Crawford facing Floyd Mayweather, even in an exhibition, has ignited heated debate. Critics worry it could overshadow Crawford's legacy, arguing that after landmark victories over Errol Spence and Canelo, he risks appearing more motivated by money than meaningful competition. Mayweather's recent focus on lucrative exhibitions rather than legacy-defining fights fuels this concern, suggesting that stepping into the ring with him might diminish Crawford's historic achievements. Conversely, supporters contend that Crawford's legacy is already cemented. A fight with Mayweather, they argue, would not tarnish his record, but instead add a compelling and memorable chapter to his storied career.
Terence Crawford. It's just a situation where Terence Crawford is trying to fill up his bank account opposed to actually his legacy. This is what was being said, right? This is what people perceive. Terence Crawford was just attempting to cash out.
When fans compare Mayweather and Crawford, the debate quickly becomes nuanced. Floyd's career features wins over some of boxing's biggest names, but critics highlight the context of those victories. Canelo was still young and inexperienced, and Pacquiao entered their 2015 fight injured. Additionally, Mayweather's refusal to grant rematches, particularly with Pacquiao, left lingering questions about the completeness of his record. In contrast, Crawford has dominated opponents considered to be at their peak when facing him. This contrast fuels ongoing discussions about whether Mayweather's legendary status reflects unmatched skill or careful timing and matchmaking, while Crawford's rise is celebrated as a display of fearless competition at the highest level.
Floyd Mayweather is still greater than Terence Crawford. We need to really talk about this now. A lot of you guys are putting Crawford a bit too high. If you want to say Crawford could beat Floyd, I'm more open to that conversation, but when you're lining up the careers, I'm going to say Floyd every time. While they're both 5 division, Bud has become 3-time undisputed, but he's only fought 10 world champions to Floyd's 25 world champions. You can't take away the 5 division, 3-time undisputed. In terms of accolades, yeah, he probably gets the nod over Floyd. I say their accolades are about relative, considering Floyd Mayweather won Fighter of the Decade as well. But when you get to the resumes, Pacquiao, Oscar, Canelo, Cotto, Mosley, Castillo, Marquez, Zab, Gotti, Hatton, and Corley. There's probably way more people that this guy just didn't name. And then when you get to Bud's resume, not saying it's just bad, but the only names that's really worth mentioning is going to be Spence and Canelo. It's not a knock on Bud. Bud was not able to make those fights early on in his career. But I got to tell you guys what it is. Bud's resume just doesn't line up with Floyd's. Take their top 20 wins. Bud don't even got 20 wins to really sit here and name. Floyd got a good 20-something plus. Bud probably got about 10 wins that we could really sit here and name. Floyd's still greater than Bud in my opinion.
Tony Jeff, a respected boxing analyst, highlighted that Floyd Mayweather's greatest weapon wasn't just his defense or speed, but his mindset. Floyd's unwavering belief that he could beat anyone made him truly formidable. Even in close fights, his supreme boxing IQ and confidence gave him an edge. His ability to read opponents, adapt instantly, and remain calm under pressure set him apart from fighters who relied only on physical ability. According to Jeff, this psychological mastery combined with technical precision made Floyd appear nearly unbeatable and helped him retire with an unblemished record.
Mindset, they're really confident, they really believe in themselves, but you need more than that mindset. You need to have the full package of everything that I'm talking about what Floyd has got.
Fighters should only want to get better. The more you win, the more you should work hard. If you think about losing, you're gonna lose. All I ever thought about was winning. So that's all I know.
Floyd would visualize his success before he even stepped into the ring. There was no alternative to him but winning. And this mindset isn't just for boxing, it's for all walks of life. And I've actually done a full video talking about how I used this mindset of visualization to win my Olympic medal. And it was an absolute game changer. Now, Floyd used to use this mindset to ease the pressure that he put himself under. And he made himself think like, I'm not under any pressure right now, where he was under immense pressure.
Pressure either makes you or break you. Well, you see where I'm at, so it's obvious that I'm the type of athlete or I'm the type of entertainer that can deal with pressure. There's never no pressure.
Now, if you watch his fight in 2013 when he fought Canelo Alvarez, Canelo came in a young, strong, undefeated fighter, but by round 2, Floyd kind of had him figured out. He was reading Canelo's jab. He would slip outside and then come back with a clean counter punch, then move his feet and get out of the way. He basically had the full fight under control, and he was controlling the full rhythm of the fight. He was forcing Canelo to fight at his pace, and this is what he would do in all of his fights. He would get his opponent to do what he wanted them to do without their opponent even realizing it, which is what we call boxing IQ. Now, even though I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather personally, because of the time when I did meet him, what he said to me made me just feel like this.
The boxing world is buzzing over the possibility of Terence Crawford facing David Benavidez. Benavidez brings size, power, and relentless aggression, creating a real test for Crawford. Fans see this matchup as the kind of high-risk challenge that could elevate Crawford even further. Although nothing official has been announced, the speculation highlights what fans truly crave: legacy-defining fights rather than money-driven exhibitions. Crawford versus Benavidez would be a classic clash of skill versus size, precision versus power, a dream bout for boxing enthusiasts everywhere.
Not me, but shocked the world. This past Saturday, Mexican Independence Day weekend, what he took on defeated another first ballot Hall of Famer, but he essentially jumped up 3 weight classes, technically 2, from 154 to 168, but only had 1 fight at 154 last August against Israel Majamov. Terence Crawford defeated Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is a 4-division champion, 2-time undisputed super middleweight, and the reigning, at the time, super middleweight world champion, undisputed world champion. And Terence Crawford beat him handily and convincingly. And because he beat him so easily, now the 63 win, 3 loss, 2 draw, 39 win by way of knockout, biggest threat has been now imposed on Terence Bud Crawford, and that's the Mexican Ecuadorian monster, David Benavidez, who is a 2-division undefeated world champion, is the 2-time WBC super middleweight and reigning WBC light heavyweight, 175-pound champion, who has a record of 30 wins, no loss, no draw, 24 wins by way of knockout. He stands 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach. This is a fight that David Benavidez has been calling for Canelo Alvarez when he was at 168, and Canelo Alvarez strategically maneuvered around him. But Canelo Alvarez is 5'7" with a 70-inch arm reach, started his career at 147 pounds, made his real name at 154 pounds. He's not a big guy, okay? And styles make fights. Benavidez is 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach. His last fight at 168 against Demetrius Andrade, he rehydrated to 193. So he's a big guy. Canelo Alvarez probably rehydrate to 182, maybe 185 max, right? He's not a big guy, right?
Comparing Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford is a debate without a simple answer. Both have dominated the best fighters of their respective eras. Mayweather's perfect record and defensive mastery defined his generation, while Crawford's ability to move up in weight and still dominate is equally remarkable. Their eras and circumstances differ, making direct comparisons difficult. Ultimately, it may be impossible to declare one greater than the other, but together they set the highest standard of boxing excellence.
I said that was going to happen. If Crawford was to win, we're going to be seeing a lot of these debates on whether or not Floyd Mayweather or Terence Crawford is going to be better. Now, this is going to be a debate for a long, long time. I'm talking about one of those debates like LeBron versus MJ, Messi versus Ronaldo. It's one of those. And the thing is, I can get behind it. Let me go ahead and say this. When it comes to resume, I do think we give Floyd Mayweather the edge. I mean, he beat a bunch of champions. He reigned for a long time. While Crawford, his resume is heavily criticized, and he's just not getting, his kind of respect for beating Errol Spence and Canelo Alvarez. But if we're talking strictly off of skills, this is where things get really, really tough to talk about. I think a fair assessment of this matchup would be Floyd Mayweather wins from 135 and 140, while Crawford wins from 147 to 154. And I say that because I feel like Floyd's style changed once he got to welterweight. He became a more defensive fighter, and he just wasn't as much focused on offense. And knowing this, I feel like Crawford would have had a much better chance of handling him. And we all know, Crawford was an absolute monster at welterweight. But hey man, like I said, this is going to be a debate for a very long time. I can't wait to hear all the talk about it. But I'm curious on your thoughts. Who do you think wins in the fight? Floyd or Terence Crawford? Let's talk about it, and follow me for more boxing talk.
Greg Hackett's take on Crawford's victory over Canelo highlights the symbolic weight of that fight. By calling Canelo the best in boxing, Hackett underscores how dominant and feared he had been for over a decade. Crawford not only faced him but took control and dismantled him, signaling a dramatic shift in power. In Hackett's view, Crawford has become the new predator in the sport, the fighter everyone fears. This win didn't just enhance his resume, it redefined boxing's landscape, marking Crawford as the man who dethroned the shark and became the hunter.
Because you got to remember, Canelo is the guy right now in the sport that's supposed to be the man, you know, big bad wolf. You beat him, you the wolf. Now it's like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, who else I'm gonna fight? You beat the shark, you beat the wolf. Right. Damn, like, you know what I mean? Ain't no more ops out there. It's ops out there, but who gonna make them really want to get up? That's the
shit gotta make sense. Like you said, you be the shark and then you be the wolf.
Yeah.
But there's the monster.
Yeah, there is, but that's like a real monster.
Bro, that's to me it don't make sense. But that's
really
what.
A monster.
Yo, is that proof? All right, we got the legendary Pape in the building. Legend. But what makes sense? Like, what makes the most sense? I know you said get a line of suits, Brooks Brothers.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Your line of suits, get your money. Yeah, go ahead and get the easy money. You ain't gotta sweat no more. Not saying you ain't gotta work, you ain't gotta sweat. He's paved a career where he could sit down at a table and get this money. He could come out with a Terence Crawford series now, just doing whatever he like to do. People gonna watch it. Nobody, the fighting part, people don't understand what it's like to be a fighter. A lot of times fighters really don't be interested in certain fights. It's cause when a guy see himself up here and then fighting a guy down here, it don't interest him. So therefore when he train, he not gonna really train. He gonna train, but he not gonna train. He not gonna listen. He gonna feel like his coach taking it too serious, and he's like, man, this ain't even.
Crawford's win over Canelo Alvarez was a career-defining moment that erased any remaining doubts about his greatness. His earlier victory against Errol Spence had already silenced critics, showing his ability to control a fight from start to finish. But dismantling Canelo, a fighter considered nearly untouchable, cemented Crawford's place in boxing history. Analysts now widely agree that these victories prove he belongs among the sport's all-time greats, with his dominance across multiple divisions leaving no room for debate.
I think there was enough action, and I think Crawford displayed his skill enough, even to someone with not the most trained eye, that they know they saw a very high-level athlete perform something at a very high level last night. I think he gained the sports world's attention last night and respect. He already did after Spence, but it went to another level in this fight.
And I think even the fight itself, like just from a median level, but then the moments where they were having these exchanges, like kind of late in the fight, then people were like, all right, it was good. Then like, okay, I saw somebody like, they're squabbing, like this is a fight here. So I think it did.
And Crawford closed the show.
Yeah.
In 10, 11, 12, he stood in there and landed some hard shots and rocked Canelo at the bell. He didn't. James was talking about the great Floyd Mayweather. Floyd would go up on you 8-0 and then coast, and you might as well turn the fight off at midway through the ninth. Like, you know, he's not gonna. But Crawford didn't.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates and analysis. See you in the next one.